Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I just want to say thank you so much to the person that actually commissioned this one. It was a really fun, creative sort of build. So here you can see that I'm just using my wood lathe to turn the main sort of shaft of the one down, which this is actually a sort of dragon inspired one. So it's the shaft and also the tail that spirals around it. So I've got to leave enough wood in the middle there, you can see, to actually carve out the tail. And then the top piece I leave as a huge chunk so that I can mark out using a permanent marker the main sort of shape of the dragon's head and body. We then move to the bandsaw, the tool that I try to stay away from because it it feels so dangerous, like it's going to just pull your arm in. So with this I'm just using a piece of scrap wood just to push the actual body of the dragon wand through it, just to cut out the main pieces, just so I don't have too much to actually sort of sand off. I found actually, instead of sort of sanding and moving straight to power tools, I found the best thing was to sort of creep up on the shape, as they say, and just slowly do it by hand using craft knives and Stanley knives, just to actually make the spiralling tail down the shaft of the wand and to carve out the main shape of the actual body and head of the dragon. To finally get the actual shape of the dragon's head down to the line that I had drawn, I then used a flat disc, so a sanding disc on an angle grinder, just to get it down to the last bit, down to the actual shape of the drawing. And then on the inside underneath the neck there, I couldn't get the actual grinder to go in without sort of messing up the design, so I just used a rotary tool just to actually finally carve out that piece. Then actually getting the shape of the head down to a sort of smooth shape rather than a big block like you just saw. I found that actually hand carving it with the craft knife was the best thing to do that. And then to finally finish it off and really smooth it out and to get the shape of the head, I then moved to my rotary tool with different sized sanding wheels, sanding drums and actual engraving pieces, just to really get it to be nice and smooth all the way down the wand. And here you can see, using one of those engraving tools to actually cut into the shape of the eyes, and then after the eyes just to sort of mark out the shape of the nostrils as well. Here I just wanted a little bit of effect on the back. I didn't want it all to be smooth, so I basically drew crazy sort of hexagonal shapes on the back and then ground them out with, again, one of the rotary tool engraving pieces, and then went over the top of that with one of the sort of diamond ball rotary pieces, which just roughs off the edges, takes off the burrs of the cuts from the previous rotary tool bit, but it also gives it a nice sort of bumpy effect, just so it's smooth on the underside of the dragon's sort of skin, on its neck, but on the back of it you have a really cool rough sort of dragon's, as I personally would imagine dragon's skin to be. I then used raw sienna to paint the dragon's tail all the way down, just to add a nice contrast, light contrast, compared to the teak wood itself of the shaft. After the spiral tail going all the way down the shaft of the wand, I then mixed up, using Daler & Rowney System 3 acrylics, mixed up this really gorgeous sort of light green colour and applied it all over the body and the head of the dragon. I needed to sort of filter in like a really gorgeous blue. So I mixed up this blue with lots of different colours and also put a bit of metallic in it, so it has a nice sort of glittery fleck to it when you put it in sunlight. And I needed it to just be sort of smoothly transitioning from the back being fully blue to the sides being green. So the only way I could really think of doing this was to thin down the paint, put it into my airbrush, and then it seemed to work quite nicely. And as you can see there, it's almost like a chameleon paint, where you look at it on one side it looks blue, look at it on the other it's green, and just wanted a nice sort of smooth transition between the two, not like a hard edge and not like it had been dry brushed. Then we come to the very satisfying bit of peeling the masking tape off. That is until you get to the back and find out that you've oversprayed the blue onto the shaft of the wand. Why? Luckily that only took a bit of sandpaper to get off though, so it's all good. Then on the actual back, on the dragon's skin, the sort of gnarly bit that I engraved into the back, I then did a dry brush of a sort of darker green and then put a very bright emerald green into the eyes themselves. Because the actual customer, they wanted emeralds set into the eyes. I couldn't quite stretch to emeralds, but the sort of paint gave a nice sort of bright effect in there. To make the actual dragon's skin on the back stand out a bit more, I then used a sort of weathering ink all the way over the top of that, and then went over the nose as well, and then sort of smoothed it out and softened it into the rest of the skin. Then, to seal the whole thing, I used 2 coats of car lacquer, which for the blue and green paint sort of section of the body and the head really made it pop. The sunlight especially, the sort of transition between the 2 colours looks incredible. Really great. I'm so pleased with that part. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching, guys. Please like, comment and subscribe for more.